Good afternoon. Welcome to a signature series video with Christopher and I. My name is Bethany and
I'm Christopher.
And we are excited to have you in our kitchen today. We're going to share with you a little bit of information in regards to how to build a fruit, cheese, and charcuterie board. We know that there's so many different ways to do this. We just thought it would be fun to share our signature version of this wonderful way to entertain just a few people or a big, huge crowd. So Chef's going to show us
how to cut a pineapple. This is one of our signature items for our fruit and cheese displays. Our pineapple that goes on there. And so we cut it in half. Then we quarter it. And then we take it and we go down the core of the pineapple, and then we slice in at each end, just like that. And then we come along the skin of the pineapple, go down there, and make sure we cut through here. Then we pop it out, and we slice this up. And then we go ahead and just pop it out there like that.
our own little pineapple boats. So what we're going to do is actually build the fruit and cheese board right on our cutting board. So we were trying to think of things that you would have around the house, and we feel really confident that you likely have a cutting board. And so what we do is we kind of build in a certain order. And so the first thing we do is identify what's going to be our base, which in this case is our cutting board. And then we really love to build up with levels. And so today we're going to use a few different vessels to be able to do that. One is to use a cake plate. And so we'll actually place this on one of our corners. And then the other thing that we try to think of are things that would not work well to be on a display itself alone, like jams or pimento cheese or olives, may need some other kind of smaller vessels. And so we identify what we're going to use. And this is one of those things you can definitely think outside the box. Because I wanted to be able to show what it was when it's on the board, I actually used a glass and put pimento cheese right inside. And again, this is one of those things where you can make your own pimento cheese like we do, but if you need some shortcuts, it's definitely one of those things that you could purchase at the grocery store. We also have some pickled okra, and Chef does an amazing job at pickling okra and bread and butter pickles. And so we're gonna have those, and just to create some height, we're gonna put that up on the cake stand itself. And then for jams, we used a small little souffle cup. And so I'm actually gonna leave that right on the corner so that it doesn't get too much in the mess of everything else. And then as we're building, we start with grapes and pineapples. So basically kind of creating like a foundation on everything else that we're going to build up. And oftentimes people ask us like, are you sure you should mix fruit with charcuterie and with like pickled okra and that kind of thing? And the answer is yes. People love this style of noshing, and so we have found great success. You'll see in how we're putting it together, we're really looking at how we're creating some vertical presentation with it. So propping a pineapple up on the grapes is a great way to accomplish that. And then with the cheeses, Christopher already cut some of them, but these are just standard cheeses that you can buy at the grocery store. Not super expensive, not hard to get. Pepper jack. And oftentimes when you're creating a charcuterie and a fruit and cheese board, you don't really need an entire block of cheese, but that's how you purchase it. So we recommend not slicing all of the cheese, just cut what you think you'll need. And then you can use what is remaining as a level basically for your board. So just kind of looks interesting, create some more different aesthetics for the fruit and cheese board. Christopher, how do you base how much cheese you would prepare on it for, say, 10 to 12 people on a charcuterie board?
I mean, I usually go about 1.5 pieces of cheese per person. So if I have of types, so if I have 3 different types, that's going to be 4.5 pieces, 5 pieces of cheese per person. That's the average. Some people are going to get more, some people will take less. It all balances out.
Great, thanks. And then you can see what I'm working with in that I really want to have both of these pineapples on the board, but I didn't want for them to be going both the same direction. So I intentionally am placing one pineapple going this way, the other going that way, so just so that it looks more interesting. The other rule about cheese that is really just like one of ours, and that is that we do not do cubed cheese. So you can cut cheese in triangles, you can cut it in rectangles, you can cut it in squares. There's so many other ways to cut cheese than in a cube. So you might as well be different and not do it the way that it comes right out of a package. It doesn't take that long to cut the cheese.
Yes, I knew that was coming.
So you might as well go ahead and do it yourself. You can see what I'm doing. I crisscross some of the cheese so that it's easier for people to pick up. Also, as it softens so that it doesn't stick together. We also sometimes do X's, and then I really do love to create little towers. And so we tell our team, like, really work on creating a tower where you just slightly turn. Again, with the cheeses, like, you really want to create some interest in the color. So whether you're using white cheddar or yellow cheddar, you can mix those two so that it has an interest there. So if yellow cheddar is on the top here, then it's going to be on the bottom here. And so it's just a different way to be able to show you. So you could basically take the cheese, olives, pimento cheese, pickled okra, jam, add crackers, and some additional fruit and call it a day. However,
we can't do that.
No, absolutely not. So we're gonna add some charcuterie. And so Christopher, tell us what we're adding.
So we're adding hard salami, a aged pepperoni, and then a peppered sausage, a black pepper crusted sausage.
Yeah, so again with the sausage, because we didn't need all of this, so we left some of the sausage whole and cut it at an angle just so it looks cool when it's on the board. With the peppered sausage, we have learned through the years, you probably want to group it all together because the pepper does come off onto your hands a little bit. And so you definitely want to make sure that you kind of keep that group together. But the rest of the sausage, then you can mix in throughout the board. And again, you want to be thinking about the colors of how color is mixing in throughout the entire presentation. And so we're going to finish this off by adding our berries to the board. And so I'm going to add some strawberries, and red, of course, is a color that immediately draws your eye. So with red, you want to make sure that you're placing the red throughout the entire board so that people are drawn to see the entire thing. Since we know that we all eat with our eyes before we ever get it into our mouths, you really want to draw people to all of the different things that you're offering. So we'll add strawberries. And Christopher, can you tell us how you determine how much fruit that you would plan?
You know, I go, again, 2 strawberries per person, something like that. You can have maybe 3, a couple of blackberries. You don't want to go overboard because they're not going to, they never eat it all. But the thing is, you want to go ahead and be able to reuse that later on.
And so with the blackberries, I have added those onto the board. And lastly, we're just going to add some crackers, which is the perfect notch. If you'll pass me those over, Chef. I'm going to, again, just create like little towers. Can I have the rest of those?
Yes,
please?
I'm sorry.
And so, again, just by placing little towers of crackers around the board, just creates a really nice look. And then lastly, we'll finish it off with our fresh rosemary, which is from our garden here at Hewitt Oaks. And so if you don't have fresh rosemary, of course you don't have to have it in the first place. But if you do have access to fresh herbs, it's a really lovely way to kind of finish things off. And who wouldn't want to come and enjoy a glass of wine and some fruit and cheese? And so we hope that this signature series of one of our favorite things to do helps you entertain and keep your home and family fed really well. So have a great, delicious afternoon.
Thank you.